that Enzo can really help the team because he's really talented, really kind of well connected with the team. But we didn't want to rush the process. Okay, maybe he could have started against Swansea, and maybe the output of the game should have been different. But it's not our main purpose. We want to build gradually the process, and it was the right decision.
And in terms of, we touched on it in the last few weeks, but in terms of goal scoring, is that still an area you're concerned about working on in these last few games?
Yeah, it's really important for the outcome of a game, and probably it's connected with the consequence of other pillars in our game. The build-up against a strong pressure wasn't really efficient against Swansea, so we have to still to improve this part of our game. And if the connection high up the pitch is better, you can create more chances. And we didn't create many chances against Swansea, but I think we have the reasons and can understand why at this stage of the season. And at the same time, we are not happy with the situation, but we have the explanations.
Earlier in the season, you spoke about managing in France and how the season's somewhat shorter there. How challenging have these last 15 or so games been for you in this new experience?
For me, I like playing many games, but I'm not on the pitch, so probably I'm fresh. It's okay, but for the players, it's really different. And from the last experience in playoff 2 seasons ago, I think you remind that we had the lack of defenders, for example. It wasn't possible to manage the squad at that moment. I think now we have this opportunity, and maybe we'll have some problems, injuries, but not because we rushed the process. It's because we were being unlucky. It's possible. So now we have this option, and I think it's very important to be calm, to be quiet, to be well organized, and to support the squad at this moment.
The fact that you referenced back to that playoff campaign, is that something you've looked back at to learn from, or the players to learn from this time around?
Yes, it's a new experience for me. So I talked with many people about this period and how we can manage properly this situation. And what is really important at the end of the season, it's not now because we can't change our position table right now. It's impossible, but we can build the best shape as possible through the end of the season. So this is our main purpose, and what we can control, we try to use it properly, and what we can't, it's not the balance.
And have those players that were involved 2 years ago, have they fed back to you? Have they spoken to you about their experiences that last time round?
So, not only the players, the people around the team, other players who were successful in that stage of the season. So I spoke with many people and tried to find the best way to prepare the team now.
Total Sport Northeast.
Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett, MBE.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Both sets of players in their respective huddles, though Bristol City have just broken from theirs in their red and white kit, red shirts, white shorts, red socks. Max O'Leary, their goalkeeper, born just up the road in Bath, the Republic of Ireland player, if he was ever selected. He is away to our right in pink as we look down from the main stand here at Ashton Gate. Bristol City will be playing from right to left. They're attacking the away end, which is at the Avon Gorge, the Clifton Suspension Bridge end of Ashton Gate. Sunderland are going to get the game underway. They're wearing their third kit. They're light blue this afternoon. The referee in black is Oliver Langford, who's been in charge of 2 Sunderland games this season. The 2-2 draw at home against Plymouth Argyle and the 2-0 win over Oxford United at the Stadium of Light as well. There's light drizzle in the air, and the stadium is pretty much full. There's still quite a few empty seats in the away end. I know there were still quite a few tickets being up for grabs today. People who couldn't make it for whatever reason this afternoon So the away end not entirely full, but there's still a good atmosphere in the stadium nonetheless. It's pretty much sold out today for this fourth versus fifth, or fifth versus fourth fixture in the Championship, as Oliver Langford gets this underway. The ball pushed back to Patterson in green in the middle of the Sunderland half, and he floats the ball up down the left-hand side into the Bristol City half. It's headed clear, but only as far as the halfway line, where Lefay plays it back to Patterson. Rigg is playing as the 10, Lefay dropping just behind him as the 8. Patterson across to O'Nien, almost on the touchline, played off Bird. Max Bird for a throw to Sunderland. The Sunderland lineup as Hjelde takes the throw to Lefay. Lefay plays it back to O'Nien. Patterson in goal. Just keeping an eye on Naki Wells, is putting some pressure on at the edge of the area. Split them by Joe Williams.
Well done, Lefay.
As Lefay just turns inside and leaves the ball now for O'Nien to try and play up to Roberts on the halfway line. And an interception by Neil. He breaks through the middle in the Bristol City half here now. Watson to his left. Neil just lays it off to Tommy Watson. Watson back across here on his right foot. Rick can't quite control it. And he miskicks it behind for a goal kick. It was an opportunity.
Good opportunity. It just went wrong, didn't it? Maybe the ball from Dan Neil into Watson, and then he couldn't get it out of his feet. And then when it fell to Chris Rigg, he got it all wrong.
So Patterson in goal, back four of Hume, Mepham, O'Nien and Hjelde, Neil and Lefay, Roberts, Rigg and Watson, Meander up front, Bristol City, O'Leary in goal. The back three of Tanner, Viner and Dickey, midfield of McCrory, Williams, Knight and Pring. And then behind Naki Wells up front, Bird and Earthy, George Earthy, 20-year-old on loan from West Ham, and England under 21 scored last week in the 1-1 draw at Queen's Park Rangers. Here's Hume on the right from Lefay, back over the halfway line to Mepham, across to Luke O'Nien, and O'Nien then wide again to Hjelde on the touchline. Drives one up into the Bristol City penalty area straight at Max O'Leary, who gets the ball out here to Viner, Max Viner, who actually qualifies now to play his football for Kenya. Williams lays the ball off on the right to Tanner, George Tanner. The one changed this afternoon. He comes in for Hirakawa, and now play through to Viner again by Dickey. Down the left wing to Pring, and back to Viner, into the middle to Dickey, and out wide again to Pring, Cameron Pring. Born just up the road in Cheltenham. Hume makes a block to Roberts, back to Hume, and now Neil in the middle, tapping it to Lefay. Lefay just laying it off on the far side on the touchline to Hjelde. Back inside to Neil. Neil behind him, Mepham, and Mepham just at the edge of the centre circle to O'Nien to his left. Forwards to Lefay again. Lefay to Hjelde, back to Luke O'Nien, just behind the halfway line, on to Lefay again on the left with Hjelde on the touchline. Back to Lefay. Now Neil tapping it on, looking for Watson. Watson back to Hjelde. Plays it back to O'Nien at the edge of the centre circle. In the 4th minute, 0-0. Little flick by Roberts in the middle to Rigg, one back by Bristol City. And now Wells trying to get away through the middle, the Bermudan international, and eventually back to Rob Dickey in the middle of the three at the back for Bristol City. One of the form teams in the division over the last 10 games. Only Burnley have better form at the moment than Bristol City. Back it's played, a little harshly behind for a corner kick.
Good pressure.
And Watson goes to get the ball to take the kick for Sunderland, leaving it though for Lefay, who's jogging over to that corner on the far side, the left-hand side for Sunderland. First corner of the game coming in the 5th minute. Rain still very much in the air, and the temperature has plummeted today. Lots of players around the 6-yard box. Oliver Langford keeping an eye on what over the corner. He's seen waving, pointing at the ball. Lefay is placing the ball again on the corner of the quadrant.
How can you see from there the line?
I know.
It's ridiculous.
The linesman's on the other side, isn't he? So Lefay with the corner from the left. It's hanging in the air towards the far post.
Corner.
Headed behind for another corner. Hume challenged for the ball, but the defender headed it behind. Second Sunderland corner. Down comes Roberts on this right-hand side to take this one. 0-0. The wind gusting actually through the stadium. Here's Roberts, drives it in over the clutch of players in the 6-yard box and around behind for a goal kick to Bristol City. Regis Debris applauding and trying to rotate his hands, just trying to whip his players up a bit. Dickey, short tap to the goalkeeper O'Leary. O'Leary back to Dickey, closed down by Rigg. He lifts it up over the Sunderland player, down the left, and Wells nods it on past Hume. Hume tripped him. It's going to be a red card. Trey Hume caught Naki Wells. He's been shown a red card.
You know, it's one of them, you know, he was last man. Again, Luke O'Nine's trying to win the ball. He's not won it, he's broke through, and Trey Hume is trying to recover. Now it's going to be a long afternoon.
It's going to be a long afternoon. Trey Hume given a red card, a straight red card. He'll miss Monday's game now. So unintentionally, Trey Hume's going to get a rest. And that incident, it's hard to argue in one sense because Wells was away, he was through, and Hume definitely caught him and brought him down.
Yeah, and what's happened is Luke O'Neill has tried to win the ball. He hasn't won it. You've got to say Naki Wells, he's sort of got the other side of him and he was away. Trey Hume's tried to catch him up, and unfortunately he's caught his heels and he's gone down.
And he was last man. It was the edge of the penalty area, just a yard out, a couple of yards out. So free kick to Bristol City, 20 yards, just a couple of yards left of the D. Coventry 1, West Bromwich Albion 0 in another critical game. And here's the kick from Jason Knight, straight into the wall. Williams blasts a shot past the foot of the left post from 23 yards. So Sunderland survived the free kick, but they are down to 10 men. We're in the 8th minute. We played 8 minutes.
Who's going to play right back?
Now that's a question. Will they change? Will they bring Brown on, or will they make a change within the existing players? The ball played out by Patterson on the far side. Enzo Lefay trying to win it, knocks it out to throw to Bristol City. It'll be taken by McCrory on the far side. Watford 1, Burnley 0. Sheffield United will hope there's a glimmer of light for them, but they play Burnley on Monday at Turf Moor. Here on the left is Jason Knight. He just rolls it along the halfway line to Joe Williams. Williams then to Dickey, back to Viner. Viner on to Knight again. And Knight back here in the centre circle to Rob Dickey. Dickey out to the left-hand side to Earthy. And Earthy wide on the touchline to Pring. Inside to Wells, who crashes into Dan Neil. Neil's penalised. It's a free kick to Bristol City, 25 yards out or so on the left of midfield.
Yeah, we've got to be careful. It's going to raise silly fouls.
Referee speaking to Dan Neil. Dan Neil with his arms outstretched. Indignation from the Sunderland captain. Earthy and I think Williams, no, Max Bird over the free kick. Tommy Watson behind the spray, the one-man wall. And
it's interesting that, he's not panicked, has he, Reggie Lebris, in regards of, who he's bring up.
No, he's just watching it play out at the moment. Earthy's pass into Williams, who plays it into the penalty area. Neil hooks it out, headed back in again on that far side by George Tanner, but out for a goal kick. Tanner, the former Manchester United and Carlisle defender. Massive game for Carlisle United as well this afternoon in League 2 against the leaders Port Vale. Carlisle, I think, conceivably could get relegated today. There's a couple of clubs that face the brick, if you like, the precipice over this weekend.
Yeah. What he's done is put Luke O'Nien.
Luke O'Nien's come across as right back,
and Dan
Neil's dropped into the back four.
Yeah.
So not brought anybody on. The whole intention was to give players a break, wasn't it? I think that's why Brown's on the bench, give him a rest. So not panicked into doing anything drastic, but they are down to 10, Sunderland, with Trey Hume's dismissal. And it's 0-0. We're in the 12th minute. Viner on to Bird, back to Tanner, Dickey, and Viner again. This in the Bristol City half, out to Pring, Cameron Pring on the left wing, back inside to Joe Williams. Gets the ball back again, and then plays it through Dickey, out to the right to Tanner. Tanner wide again to McCrory, inside to Knight. And then back to Tanner, Bird. It's all out on the right touchline at the moment. Sunderland win it back. Yelder trying to get it to Lefay. Bristol City win it back. And then on to the halfway line, play it back to Viner in the centre circle. Williams just in front of them. He plays it to Dickey. And Dickey on down the right-hand side to McCrory. Trying to cut inside. Lefay puts his foot right through it. Out for a throw to Bristol City on the far side. Bristol City's last four away at Luton on Monday, then the following Monday night away at Leeds, and they end at home against Preston.
But you look at this game today, Nick, and it defeats what we talk about managing the game or managing the rest of the season. You're going to be down to 10 men. They're going to put a shift in the players who are playing.
I know.
So we're talking about resting players.
And in fact, they're going to play much more. Middlesbrough 1, Plymouth 0. As the ball played out to the left here to Pring at the edge of the Sunderland penalty area. Back out to Williams. Williams then to Tanner. And Tanner down the right of central midfield wide to McCrory. Back to Knight. Jason Knight, Republic of Ireland international. Into Joe Williams in the middle. Now Bird just to his left. Back to Viner. Viner to Dickey. And now to Knight, looking for Wells at the edge of the area. A nice ball from him down the right, looking for McCrory. The cross is cleared. It'll fall to Watson to try and keep in, but he can't. And the throw quickly taken by Bristol City. Down the right to Tanner. Back to be swung in, and Pring got his head on it, but it goes behind, well wide of the goal, almost at the corner flag for a goal kick to Sunderland. Patterson comes to retrieve the ball from the ball boy.
You've got to say it was a good start by Sunderland. We started up.
They could have been one up.
The game brightly, didn't we?
Could have been one up. But then that break from Bristol City, which led to the bringing down of Wells by Trey Hume. Hume sent off. It's 0-0. We're in the 15th minute of the game. Tomorrow afternoon, it's a 5:30 kickoff for Aston Villa against Newcastle. We'll have full commentary of that. 4:30 build up. Here's Mayenda, the ball laid off to him by Roberts, squeezed out though in the penalty area. And O'Leary takes the ball at the edge of the 6-yard box. The two defenders just basically got in front of Mayenda. Ball out to the touchline, just kept in by Knight. One back by Sunderland. Roberts here on the right hand side, and a attempted tackle by Earthy, who does eventually get the ball to Knight. Pring behind him. Williams almost dispossessed by Lefay. Lefay, loose ball, but the goalkeeper's going to clear it in front of him. Up to the halfway line, over the heads of Wells and O'Nien. And he'll run out here for a throw to Sunderland on the right, which Mepham will come back to take for Sunderland. No, he leaves it in the end for Luke O'Nien. Play 15 minutes, 0-0, but Sunderland with 10 men. Live on BBC Radio Newcastle. O'Nien just drying the ball off from his chest, and then down the line he goes with a throw, cut out by Viner. A push in the back by Roberts on Pring. Free kick to Bristol City. Through Dickey now to Williams. Bristol City have not been in the top flight since 1980. And when they were promoted in 1976, it was 65 years since their last spell in the top flight. So what's in store? One wonders, don't we, with the playoffs just a few weeks away now. And at the moment, Bristol City 5th will play Sunderland 4th, but that could all change over the weekend. Coventry beating West Brom this afternoon. 0-0 here. Here's Pring on the left-hand side, slipped inside now to Wells, back out to Pring on the left wing, back behind to Viner. Viner curls the ball into the penalty area, and the header wide from McCrory. 8 yards out, got on the end of it, but couldn't direct it on target, and it's a goal kick to Sunderland.
You know, sometimes it's difficult to play against 10 men. You know, you've got to be creative, you've got to be clever, you need good movement. And again, sometimes you could play into Sunderland's hands, you know, especially if you can catch them on the counter-attack.
Patterson places the ball in the middle of his 6-yard line. He's Norwich 0, Portsmouth 1 in the Championship. Patterson's kick up through the middle, headed away by Tanner above Watson. Hjelde wide on the left, and the ball rolls out and nudging Hjelde's back by Max Bird. Hjelde will take the throw. Needs somebody to come and want the ball. Lefay is the closest. Bird tries to tackle him. Lefay is fouled by Nucky Wells. 34 years old now. Began his career with Dandy Town Hornets.
Who?
Dandy Town Hornets.
Where are they?
Bermuda.
He's had a good career, and
he's been around. He's been at Bermuda Hogs, Eccles Hill United, Carlisle United, Bradford City, Huddersfield, Burnley, and Queen's Park Rangers. Here's Max O'Leary's come out wide on the left to the touchline. Got the ball off Mayenda, floats it down onto the head of Mepham. O'Nien now trying to get round it, and eventually Roberts plays it off Earthy for a throw. Bottom club Plymouth, they've equalised at Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough 1, Plymouth 1. All to play for in the bottom 4 or 5 as well. Roberts to O'Nien, plays it off of Earthy again for another throw to Sunderland. It's just down from Regis Lebris. We're in the 19th minute. 10-man Sunderland, 0-0. Walsall 1, Harrogate 0 in League 2. O'Nien to Lefay, and O'Nien back into the middle across the face of Hjelde. Daniel runs on, trying to get round Bird. Nice movement from Neil to get away from Max Bird, out to Watson on the left-hand side. Back here to Hjelde in the middle, just behind the centre circle, across to Dan Neil again. We look across to the stand, the Dolman stand on that far side, above which an ugly 1960s block of flats peppered with radio masts overlooks the roof of the stand. Mepham out to Roberts, little flick on here to O'Nien, who plays it off Viner. Purposeless throw halfway inside the Bristol City half on the right hand side. 20th minute, 0-0, live on BBC Radio Newcastle. And Rigg and Wells are getting involved here. Rigg's furious with the fourth official, who's Andy Davis. Referee's had to come back. He wants a word with the pair. He's ushered Mepham away. Riggs not very happy with the Wells treatment of him, and Oliver Langford's had his say and is backing off again to midfield. O'Nien to Rigg with the throw. Lovely little touch from Rigg to take the ball back out to O'Nien, who floats it up into the Bristol City penalty area. Looking for Tommy Watson. Tanner got on the end of it, headed it clear out off of Yelder, I think. That throw to
Yelder.
Bristol City. Back it goes to the edge of the Bristol City penalty area. Viner out to Pring, wide on this left-hand side. Back inside to Zach Viner, into Dickey in the middle, back to Viner, left of the three, the back for Bristol City in their red and white. Out to Pring on the left, back inside then to Jason Knight. Knight out wide again to Pring on the left-hand side. Looking for Earthy's run, but tackled by Roberts. Quick throw from Pring. Back to Knight. Knight in the middle. He's got Miena then on the right to Bird, and Bird will back it to Knight wide. Pring. Pring on the left. Slips it through to Earthy, but tackled by Rigg at the edge of the penalty area, who taps it to Roberts, to O'Nien, back out to Rigg. Rigg through the legs of Earthy. And now Roberts trying to win it, and Rigg pokes it on straight to Viner. Knight wins it now and plays it across on the right-hand side to Tanner. Tanner halfway inside the Sunderland half, inside to Williams. Williams to Knight. Knight now to Pring, wide on this left-hand side. And in front of him is Roberts. Slips it through to Knight again. And into the penalty area to Earthy. Blocked Rigg. Knight comes through. Pring on the left, lays it off to the edge of the 6-yard box where O'Nien blocks it, comes out to Jason Knight, and now Joe Williams in the middle to Tanner, and Tanner loops one across, looking for, on this left wing, Pring, who plays it inside again to Jason Knight.
Gonna go to him.
And Knight's going to shoot, but it's way off target, behind for a goal kick. Norwich 1, Portsmouth 1. We're halfway through the first half, Bristol City 0. Sunderland with 10 men 0, and Stoke 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0. And Bristol City women play Sunderland women soon, just being advertised on the screen in the corner.
Is that home and away? Is that home or away?
Here.
Yeah, we're here.
Here. Here. Home.
Home. Away.
If you're a Bristol City fan. Not on the right wing now, inside the Bristol City half. In comes Pring, slides in, thumps the ball into the advertising hoarding. O'Nien will take the throw again, halfway inside the Bristol City half. I keep trying to convince myself it's warming up, but it's not, is it? It's still a bitterly cold Good Friday afternoon. I have to keep reminding myself as well it's Friday and not Saturday. The ball played on to Mienda. He's done well here, edge of the area. He's getting to the byline, pulling it back. Straight though to Viner, who just plays it a yard to Pring, and Pring clears it. And up into the Sunderland half. It comes off Wells, does it? The flag up eventually for a Bristol City throw. Earthy takes it quickly for Wells, and Mepham smashes it into the crowd and immediately just girds himself and tries to gee up his teammates. Knight. Warsaw 1, Harrogate 1. We've got 2 balls on the pitch. One's bounced down off the stand away to our left. Referee stops the play. It'll be a drop ball, which we've just seen off the top of the stand. So this drop ball on the left of central midfield.
Still going on, isn't he?
He is. He's worked himself up, Mepham.
Yeah.
Wide now to Earthy. Earthy back inside to Knight. Knight across in the middle to Dickey, who plays a low shot just past the foot of the left post. I think Patterson had it covered, but that caught, I think, people by surprise, because by the way he took the shot, it looked as though it was going to go well wide. But missed the post by inches. 25th minute, 0-0. Sunderland with 10 men following the dismissal in the 7th minute of Trey Hume. Up through the middle, Wells looking for Earthy. O'Nien gets his foot on it, but straight to Williams. And now running onto it, George Tanner on the far side. McCrory ahead of him, Williams inside of him. And back then to Dickey at the edge of the centre circle. Forwards to Williams. Williams wide to McCrory on the touchline. Back to Tanner. Tanner inside a couple of yards to Williams. And now Knight ahead of him is Pring on the left. And Wells at the edge of the penalty area, but it comes back to Williams in the middle, and then down the right of the penalty area, McCrory. Tanner plays it inside to Knight. Knight to Pring, the edge of the penalty area on the left. Knight again. He plays it across the middle.
You've got to get out to
Dickey. He's got Williams next to him. Williams now trying to find a gap. Wells tried to flick it onto Burr, but it rolled over his toe back.
Good defending, good shape.
Yeah, Sunderland are getting players back, bodies behind the ball.
They're asking a question. Break us down. That's what you've got to do.
27th minute, 0-0. 10 men against 11. Sunderland with the 10. Neal with the ball, floated up to the halfway line. Meyenda nods it down to Roberts. Roberts here to Rigg, running through the middle to try and get onto it with the fake, but he's beaten to it. And now Bird for Bristol City. He's driving on at Neal and tries to find Wells at the edge of the penalty area, but Hjelder's got it. Taps it to Neal. Now to Lefay, through the legs of McCrory. Watson trying to get away from Williams. Williams has won it back. Slips it inside, straight to Meyenda. Meyenda through the middle here now. He's got support on the right with Roberts. Meyenda's found Roberts on the right here at the corner of the penalty area. He's got to try and find some support. He's done well. He played it on his left foot, came off the defender, and it'll do out here for a throw. Will it? No. Kept in by Rigg. Played off Rigg then by Earthy for a Bristol City throw. Rigg was a bit unlucky then.
I'll tell you what, Meander's threatening. When he gets it, he's positive. He turns. He has a go at him, doesn't he?
He's happy to take players on as well. Out to the right, George Tanner then in the Bristol City half. 0-0. 28th minute. Tapped inside to Dickey. Dickey to Viner. Into the Sunderland half. Wide then to Pring. Slips it through to Wells. In comes Mepham. Pring's run onto the loose ball, trying to play it back into the penalty area, but Rigg is here to clear and plays it up over the halfway line. It'll come all the way back to Dickey in the end in front of the goalkeeper. Plays it on to Viner. Viner to Williams. Knight back to Williams. Across to Tanner. And Tanner back into the centre circle to Dickey. Then on to Williams again. Wide to Pring. Pring back to Joe Williams. And Williams across on the far side of midfield to Tanner. Dickey. Williams. Sunderland get everybody back behind the ball again. Wide to Pring on the left-hand side. Slips it to Naki Wells. Goes round Mepham to the goal line, but a great challenge, great stop by Rigg. Appeals for handball. He had to lean over in the bid to get the ball. I don't think there was any contact. The referee waved it away straight away. Here now is Pring again on the left, inside to Earthy, in the middle to Knight, and Knight down to Tanner. Tanner blocked by Watson, his ball forwards, and that'll roll out for a throw on the right. On halfway, ridden to the 30th minute. 10 against 11. Hume sent off after 7. It's 0-0. We're live on BBC Radio Newcastle. Here's Pring inside the Sunderland half to Williams. Williams on this left-hand side. He's got Pring wide. Hits Pring now between the penalty area and the touchline. Dribbling and trying to play the ball into Earthy. Great block by Mepham. It's a corner to Bristol City. It's in the first.
Yeah, we've just got to be careful of that. There's 2 or 3 times they've just flipped the ball down the side, haven't they?
Quick corner. Nobody on the end of it in the 6-yard box, and it's cleared somehow. It was an inviting ball in, but nobody in a red shirt was able to capitalise. But they come again, earthy, down the left side of the penalty area, trying to find a way in. Williams outside in midfield. Now to the right, Tanner back to Dickey to Viner to Knight. Inside again to Williams. Slips it on to Wells and Pring leaves it in midfield again and gets it back eventually. And gives the ball away to Mayenda. Mayenda's on his own here, but he's going to come away with the ball.
Go on.
It's one against one. Mayenda away down this right-hand side. Viner's coming back with him. Mayenda's going on. He's going to take it into the penalty area. Still going on. Eliza, what a goal that is! From his own penalty area, virtually. He's dribbled all the way up the other end, stepped inside with his left foot and slipped it under Max O'Leary in the 31st minute to give Sunderland the lead. Eliza Mayenda.
What did I say? What did I say about Mayenda? What he might do? And he's done it. What a goal that is. He's been positive. And that's what he does. And I think that's what Wilson Isidore doesn't bring to the team. He gets it. He's positive. He runs at people. He's got pace. He creates opportunities for himself.
I think he's Diego Maradona.
Unbelievable. What a
finish.
And he kept his head.
He quickly put players on, took it into the penalty area, slipped it inside under pressure onto his left foot and slid it under the goalkeeper. Sunderland lead by 1-0 in the 32nd minute with 10 men.
And that's what I felt about Mayenda. That's what he could bring to you. We could catch him on the counter-attack because of his pace and his trickery.
Well, extraordinary. What a goal that is. Unbelievable goal.
Great goal. Unbelievable.
That's got to go down as one of the goals of the season.
He's under pressure. The way he's kept the ball, gone
from the very start,
and kept his composure to finish it off.
Just outside his own penalty area, took it all the way and slipped it under O'Leary. Bristol City 0, Sunderland 1. They defended brilliantly, and now they've got a goal kick, Sunderland. And Mayenda, we saw it, and you mentioned it earlier, how strong he is, and he's prepared to take a player on. He's prepared to use his strength. And what a goal he's got there. Sorry.
I said we could catch him on a counter-attack. I said it's difficult playing against 10 men.
Well, they've been defending so well. Now Sunderland have got something to hold on to as well. Eliza Mayenda then with his 8th goal of the season, and he won't get many better than that. As the ball played up to Watson, back then to Dickey, and then Viner. He'll play it on to Pring on this left-hand side. Cameron Pring takes it down the left in the Sunderland half. Inside, Knight.
They'll be wary of his pace at the back now.
Pring's cross. Stabbed down by Hjelde. Watson has to be careful here. Bristol City have won it back. Williams to his left and back to Tanner from Williams. And here's the ball played through almost the penalty spot. McCrory beaten to it by Rigg. Tanner can't keep it in at the corner. Throw to Sunderland. It's a shame we haven't got the benefit of replays here. We'd love to see that goal again. Terrific run from...
And when he gets that far, when he runs that far and he's gone past players, what you want him to do is finish it off, and he's done it.
It's so cool. Because he had a defender on his shoulder when he took it inside. 1-0 then Sunderland lead, 35th minute. Hume sent off after 7. But the ball was sitting on the goal line, and Naki Wells come all the way back to retrieve it, to throw it to Hjelde for the Sunderland throw on that left-hand side. Hjelde poised to take it down the line. He'll go with this, headed on by Tanner. Back it comes then onto the halfway line in the middle with Pring.
He's got Knight out to his left-hand side. Roberts trying to get the ball off Knight. Knight comes back and slips it on to Williams, back to Jason Knight. Meander in front of him, plays it over to the far side to Tanner, halfway inside the Sunderland half. Sunderland leading 1-0 if you're just joining us with 10 men. Knight to McCrory wide, lifts one up into the penalty area, high in the air, headed away by O'Nien from Earthy, back from Williams, headed away again by Neal, drops for Tanner, Meander on his shoulder, and then Dickey out to McCrory, trying to come in round Watson, leaves it for Bird. Bird slips it through to Williams, stabs it back out to Knight, closed down by Roberts, comes back to Knight, blocked, comes back down, great save by Patterson. Offside. Will not count.
Great save by Patterson. Great reactions by Anthony Patterson there.
Terrific stop by Patterson. The ball fell to Earthy, but Earthy was offside. It's still 1-0 to Sunderland. 36th minute. And a goal kick as Patterson waits for everybody to drift upfield over towards the left as we look across from the main stand here at Ashton Gate. And up goes Dickey to head it away from Meander, who scored the only goal of the game. And what a goal it was here in the middle. Loose ball picked up. Roberts out to Rigg, back to O'Nien. Looking for the run of Meander here. Meander's going to chase the goal line, but one's behind in the corner. Goal kick to Bristol City. The wind whips up and the ball played out through the middle to Williams. Williams up through to the centre spot. Lefay in front of him. Out to his right for Tanner, down to McCrory on the right wing. And McCrory inside to Bird, stabbed away by Neal. Now with Williams. Williams loops the ball into the penalty area. He's headed away by Mepham. Comes out to Pring. Back to Knight. Knight now on this left-hand side. Slips it with a reverse ball down the left of the penalty area to Wells, who shakes off Roberts with a shot straight at Patterson, who met the save. 1-0 to Sunderland in the 38th minute, playing with 10 men. Patterson, as ever, in short sleeves on a bitterly cold Good Friday afternoon here in Bristol. And the kick from Patterson is a big one. Drops to Tanner. He puts it out. Throw to Sunderland. Halfway inside the Bristol City half on the left. Gelder will take this. He's urging Meander across. This finally drops to Lefay. Lefay, it's robbed by Bird. Back to Viner at the edge of this Bristol City's area. Out now on the left to Pring. Pring up over the halfway line. Across comes to try and close him down. He plays it back onto the halfway line to Knight. Knight wide now to the right. Tanner and McCrory down that right touch line. Back to Tanner. Carlisle 1, Port Vale 0 in League 2 on the penalty spot, and a shot wide from Pring. Rigg was on his shoulder, stuck to him like glue, and forced Pring to spin round and put the ball well wide.
They will get opportunities, Nick, you know.
Well, they've had a couple since the goal, but Sunderland have been very organised, very disciplined. They're working very, very hard. 39th minute, they lead 1-0 through Meander's goal. Real individual effort, and that's saying something. He picked the ball up just outside his own penalty area and ran the length of the pitch. Ball out for another throw to Bristol City on the far side, halfway inside their own half. Dickey has it, brings it back into the middle now to Viner. And Zach Viner out on the left-hand side to Pring. And then down the left of the Sunderland penalty, penalised for fouling Luke O'Nien. Zach Viner, incidentally, and the goalkeeper went to school together locally.
Bidder?
Yeah.
Primary school?
No, secondary school. Portsmouth 1, Norwich 2. Is that right?
Yeah.
It's Norwich 1, Portsmouth 2. I wasn't right. There you go. It's irrelevant, that one, really, to be honest. Here's Patterson, right side of the penalty area with his kick down the right. Floats up towards Mienda, headed away by Dickey. Hooked on by Knight, up to Wells, under pressure. Riggs got the ball from him. Back to Dan Neil, playing as a centre-half after Hume was sent off, to Hjelde on the left.
Pass
Put out though, and throw to Bristol City. Quickly taken. Williams forwards with this now, inside to Knight, and Knight out to, well, he's eventually going to go which way? Left to Earthy, back to Knight, down the left again to Earthy, back to Knight. He floats the ball into the penalty area straight to Patterson. Of course, as it stands, with Coventry beating West Bromwich Albion, Sunderland beating Bristol City, it's Coventry who move up into 5th place at this moment in time. Coventry beating West Bromwich Albion 1-0. Middlesbrough and Plymouth is 1-1. The ball high in the air, drops down on halfway onto the head of Williams, who heads it out for a throw to Sunderland halfway inside their own half on the left. Hjelde trying to get the ball back, just tapped back to him by Max Bird. In the 42nd minute, Mienda's goal coming just after the half hour. Back to Neil, to Lefay, sorry, Oldham 0, Hartlepool 1. And Lefay manages to get the ball up to the halfway line, looking for Mienda. Dickey's there, puts the ball back down the right of midfield. Offside. Wells. Free kick to Sunderland, which Patterson is coming out to take. Just wastes a few seconds, doesn't it? Blackburn 1, Millwall 0. The Millwall not out at the reckoning on 60 points, but 1-0 down at Blackburn. 43rd minute. Patterson then with his free kick. Everyone down the left of the Bristol City half. Patterson's kick up towards the corner of the Bristol penalty area, headed away straight to Rigg, who heads it on again, and then Lefay trying to nod it through for Mienda. And it's won back by Bristol City with Pring to Dickey. And Dickey now bringing it up to Knight. Knight to the halfway line, out to Pring on the left-hand side. And Pring back inside to Jason Knight. And Knight slips it to Dickey, just ahead of the centre circle, back to Knight again. And Knight out to Pring. Pring to Knight. Oldham 1, Hartlepool 1. Bird on the left. Roberts sticking with Max Bird, the former Derby County midfielder. Here he is again down the left of the penalty area. Crosses, up goes McCrory, crashes into Mepham. The ball goes behind. Mepham's still on the floor. It's a goal kick to Sunderland. Mepham's lying on his back. Appears to be okay. Sitting up. We're in the 44th minute. If you're just joining us on BBC Radio Newcastle, Sunderland had Trey Hume sent off after 7 minutes. But in the 31st, after some defending, the ball dropped to Mienda just outside the Sunderland penalty area. He ran the length of the pitch and then from 12 yards slipped the ball under Max O'Leary under pressure.
I think the referee's just had a word with Patterson just to quicken things up.
And I think he's obviously conscious that with Sunderland losing a player, they're going to try and at a time. Blackburn 1, well Millwall 1, and Mienda's won the ball in the middle off a Bristol City player. Finds Roberts. O'Leary makes the save from Roberts' left foot shot. Watson's trying to put it back in again here. Pring's trying to get in front of Roberts. The ball goes behind for a goal kick.
Great play again by Mienda. Great strength.
Burnley 1. Yeah, Roberts tried to place his shot, didn't he?
Yeah. But again, Meander.
Yeah, won the ball, used his strength. Out, trying to break down the right. McCrory down to the corner of the penalty area on the right-hand side, back to Williams. Meander comes to close down. Tanner down the right, inside to Williams, back to Tanner. We have 2 minutes. And the ball cleared by Mepham from the edge of the Sunderland penalty area. Back to the halfway line and Rob Dickey. Dickey forwards to Tanner, down the right again. It's swept in towards Earthy in the penalty area, but Neil gets the ball calmly from him and then hooks it up, looking for Meander, but it just spins away from Meander and goes out for a throw to Bristol City on the far side. Quickly taken the throw. Carlisle 2, Port Vale 0. Carlisle keeping alive their hopes of staying in the Football League as the ball floated towards McCrory, headed behind by McCrory for a Sunderland goal kick. They played a minute of the minimum 2. Patterson retrieves the ball. Oliver Langford's stationed himself just at the edge of the penalty area, keeping a beady eye on Anthony Patterson. Patterson's urging everybody upfield. He's going to take a long kick. A number of Sunderland fans have gone for half-time refreshments by the looks of the empty seats.
And a
warm-up, yeah. Hit Patterson then with the kick over the halfway line, looking for Meander. Dickey gets above him, headed on, and then on halfway, Rigg pushes it forwards. Blackburn 2, Millwall 1. Pring trying to slip the ball through. Gets it to Earthy. Mepham fouls Earthy, says the referee. Free kick to Bristol City in the middle of the Sunderland half, taken quickly by Williams. We've only got seconds left of the first half. The ball in the middle still. Bird out to the left to Knight. Knight back here to Viner. That's the minimum 2 minutes played. And the ball down to McCrory on the far side. The cross played into the penalty area. The whistle will be blown now. And at half time, it's 10-man Sunderland who go in 1 up. Meander's goal, Hume sent off after 7 minutes.
You've got to say that's a well-disciplined 5 minutes by Sunderland, especially when you go down to 10 men. You know, the way they've gone about. You've got to say Meander been excellent.
Well,
the way he's led the line.
The talking point is Meander's goal, isn't it?
Yeah.
What a tremendous individual effort from Meander, showing strength, guile, and at the end of it, a little bit technique with that lovely ball slipped under the goalkeeper. Yeah, it's been very, very good.
Game. He's been excellent. You know, his touch, he's been a threat. He's been positive when he gets the ball. It's a great outlet for Sunderland. But again, you know, the way we've defended, you know, Dan Neil going back in as a centre half, you know, we're keeping our shape. And it's going to be difficult in the second half. We know that. We're going to have plenty of the ball, Bristol. But what we've got to do is keep your shape and stay disciplined.
So a very disciplined, organised first half with a touch of brilliance from Eliza Meander. We've got the second half to come on BBC Radio Newcastle and SAFC.com. At the break, it is Bristol City 0, Sunderland 1.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
Hi, it's Matt here from The Breakfast Show. Hope you're having a lovely Easter weekend. We're off as well, and we're back on Tuesday morning with a bit of this. We might see a Northeast Harry Potter. Expelliarmus, man. Wingardium Leviosa. And probably a bit of this. It is the right answer show. Yeah. You're off to the game on Monday.
It's the biggest Sunderland competition ever. Thanks to Football Prizes, you can be a winner of some superb Sunderland stuff. It is only 39 pence to enter. Yeah, 39 pence. I know, cheapest chips. So get yourself entered into that. Loads of great prizes you can win. There is squad signed shirts. That's the home shirt, away shirt, third shirt. There are individual shirts, Bellingham, 09, Lefay, Isidore, all signed shirts. Some of them are in custom LED frames as well. Others are framed There's just so much in there. You've got to just check it out. Via the link in the description, you can see that. Click on that. There are also over 100 instant win prizes for you as well. It's a superb competition, a must for any Sunderland fan. So get yourself entered. It's only 39p, thanks to Football Prizes.
Only after 6 minutes. Middlesbrough 1, Plymouth 1. Finn Azaz had given Middlesbrough the lead after 12 minutes, but 5 minutes later, Plymouth equalised. Portsmouth, though, doing much better. 3-1 up away at Norwich City. Josh Sargent with Norwich's goal, but Portsmouth were already 1-0 up by that stage. Colby Bishop with his first. Matt Ritchie, formerly of Newcastle, got the second, and Colby Bishop from the penalty spot in the 4th minute of injury time in the end of the first half, giving Portsmouth a 3-1 lead at Norwich at the break. Liam Lindsay has scored in the 5th minute of injury time for Preston to lead Queen's Park Rangers 1-0 at half-time. Mikael Manhoof has given Stoke City a 1-0 lead over Sheffield Wednesday. Goalless between Swansea and Hull. Watford were 1-0 up at home to Burnley, but Burnley have equalised through Zian Fleming 2 minutes before half-time. There's a 5:30 game in the Championship, which is Sheffield United against Cardiff City. Then at 8 o'clock, Leeds are away at Oxford United.
Total Sport North East.
Get the latest team news, score updates and post-match reaction on Twitter at BBC Newcastle.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
The big news from League One is that Shrewsbury have been relegated, and they were relegated before they even kicked off today because the early game finished Exeter 0, Burton Albion 0. That put Burton out of reach, and Shrewsbury are down. In the 3 o'clock half times, Birmingham, the champions, drawing 0-0 at home with Crawley. Bolton also drawing 0-0 at home with playoff chasing Wycombe Wanderers. Automatic promotion chasing Wycombe Wanderers as well. Charlton 1, Northampton Town 1, both goals in the first 15 minutes. Huddersfield against Cambridge is goalless as well, but Barnsley are 2-0 up at Leyton Orient. Humphreys with both of their goals in the opening 20 minutes. Peterborough United 1-0 up on Stockport County. Reading and Lincoln is goalless. Rotherham have scored through Wilkes and Nombe to lead Mansfield 2-1 at half-time. George Maris had given Mansfield the lead. Shrewsbury, as we know, already relegated, drawing 0-0 at home to Wigan. Stevenage also drawing 0-0 at home to Blackpool. And the final game in League One has Bristol Rovers 1-0 up at Wrexham.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Into League Two, nothing can quite be decided at the top or the bottom of the division this afternoon, but it could well be by Monday. We'll come back to the bottom in a second. AFC Wimbledon 0, Chesterfield 0 at half-time. Morecambe could be relegated this weekend, not today though. They're drawing 0-0 at Bromley at half-time. And Carlisle, as you heard Nick Barnes telling you earlier, 2-0 up on Port Vale. Kelly and Dennis in the last 10 minutes of the first half. They've come back. They've great survival, whatever you want to call it, might well be on. Cheltenham 1, Gillingham 1 at half-time. Colchester 0, Crewe, Alexandra 0, Crewe down to 10 men in injury time at the end of the first half. Fleetwood against Barrow is goalless as well. Swindon, who beat Bradford 5-4 last weekend, have scored twice in the first half today as well. They're 2-0 up at Grimsby. No goals between MK Dons and Newport County. Sean Whaley has given Accrington a 1-0 lead away at Salford. Tranmere a 1-0 down at home to Doncaster. Luke Molyneux, formerly of Sunderland, with that goal. The final game in League Two, Walsall 1, Harrogate 1.
Total Sport North East.
The Newcastle and Sunderland AFC podcast
on BBC Sounds.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
In the National League, Gateshead played in the early game. We'll revisit this in a minute because we'll hear from Carl Magney, the manager, but they were beaten 3-1 at home by York City. Elsewhere in the National League, as far as Gateshead are concerned, it's going okay. Altrincham losing 1-0 at home to Rochdale. Southend drawing 0-0 at home to Braintree, but Tamworth, who had a great run, then stuttered a bit, are leading Solihull 1-0 at half-time. Forest Green Rovers are being beaten at Yeovil as well. We will come back to all the non-league results properly later on in the afternoon. In National League North at half-time, South Shields have equalised late-ish in the first half, so they're drawing 1-1 at Darlington. Will Jenkins with that equaliser. There was a 2 o'clock game that is on the verge of finishing in the East Division. Ashington have come back from 2-0 down to be drawing 2-2 at Sheffield. Josh Gilchrist and Craig Spooner in the second half. But our second featured game of the day, the second game being witnessed by Paul Dixon, Heaton Stannington against Liversedge, and Dick, I can tell us how it looks at half-time. Paul?
Well, it's great news, Colin, for Heaton Stan. It's Heaton Stan 1, Liversedge 0. And the goal came right on half-time. Conor Lamb in on goal, looked as though he's going to score, and the goalkeeper cleaned him out. Big screams for a penalty. The ball was rolling over the line, and it was cleared for a corner. They took the corner, the ball fell in the box to Conor Lamb, and he bundled the ball over. And a big crowd here went absolutely wild as Heaton Stan took the lead 1-0. They've had chances before that. Leighton Hopper who was allowed to play. His signing up last week was overturned. A great effort, great ball by Conor Lamb, and there was Hopper, a volley, brilliant save by Hassel in the goal. And then Lamb went close, beat 3 players, brilliant skills down the left-hand side, cut in, Hassel again, full length save to tip it round the post. But the crowd here, and it's a big crowd, are right behind Heatonstown, and it's just what they wanted, going in at half-time, winning 1-0.
Indeed, Paul, thank you very much indeed. At half-time in the other game in the NPL East Division, Concert drawing 0-0 at Ossett United. We will go through all of this in the local football roundup at 5:45.
Anna Foster, weekday mornings from 10.
I'm very passionate about a few things: the sky, the northeast, dogs, obviously, and hugely passionate about mental health. Alan Bell and Andy Thompson set up Vision Impact Photography to have a really good chat about it.
Mental health's always been like a major thing for me, not being able to talk about it. So meeting Andy, we wouldn't known each other since September last year, and we shared quite a lot of like stories of connection. Was just there straight away.
I have never picked up an actual camera before without letting my head swell too big. I could tell I was quite a natural straight away.
Anna Foster, weekday mornings from 10.
Just ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Newcastle.
Sunderland a goal up and a man down at Bristol City at half-time. Trehum sent off, Eliezer Mayenda scoring an absolute cracker. Bristol City 0, Sunderland 1, back with Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett very shortly. I mentioned we would revisit Gateshead against York. They were beaten 3-1 at the International Stadium today in front of a big crowd, more than 3,000 watching that one. Luke Hannant gave Gateshead the lead after 11 minutes. York equalised and then pulled away in the second half. It was a good game all round, though. Here is Paul Dixon, who we've heard from already, speaking to the Gateshead manager, Carl Magney.
Carl, a great game, a great performance by Gateshead. I think you were a bit unlucky to lose 3-1, but when you're winning 1-0, you did have opportunities to add to that.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be a high-tempo, open game with the way York set up. Obviously, we wanted to dictate our game onto them, but in spells it was really open, and it required a lot physically from the team. I felt like we started the game excellent. We were vibrant, we had energy, and we really made it difficult to play. And we nicked the ball in good areas and created opportunities. Obviously, took an early lead. And then as the game went on, I just think a lot of players coming back from long spells out, we tired. And that showed in some of our out-of-possession stuff, but also our decision-making. We ended up getting into some real good attacking areas. Breaking on teams. We had a number of breakaways where we had overloads and we just executed the pass wrong, and the detail was off there. So I was really proud of the application, but it just looked like we ran out of steam.
Carl Magney, the Gateshead manager, talking to Paul Dixon. We'll hear more from Carl Magney in the local football roundup at 5:45. It is day one of Durham against Yorkshire at Chesterley Street. Durham won the toss, decided to bowl, and Martin Emerson, one man in particular, Brendan Doggett, was probably quite pleased they did.
Yes, Brendan Doggett's bowled well today. Some tight lines. He's taken 4 for 47 in 16 overs, including 4 maidens. And Yorkshire at the minute, as we approach tea, we've got a ball left until tea, are 205 for 6. So Doggett got his first 2 wickets in the same over, the 18th, when he saw 5 for 28 and Finley Bean for 15. Then after lunch, he got Darwood Milan caught in the slips for 18. Johnny Best was on 22 when he fell LBW to Ben Rain, and then Doggett came back in to get James Wharton for 69, caught by Ben McKinney on the mid-wicket boundary. The other wicket to fall, that of Matthew Revis, who was on 7 when he edged Will Rhodes to Colin Ackerman. That is tea then, with Yorkshire 205 for 6. Don Bess has 11 and George Hill 31. Johnny Best, though, earlier got angry when Durham asked to change the ball. He didn't want the ball changing, even though he'd faced 18 deliveries and only had 1 run to his name. So he then hit 4 fours in the next 5 deliveries off Matty Potts, and followed that up with another in the next over from Potts before he then eventually departed LBW to Ben Rain for 22. So at tea, I think it's been a decent day for Durham. They've got a couple of bowling points on the board now, and they've got Yorkshire 209 for 6.
Martin, thank you very much. Even though it's just going to tea, you can still listen to Martin's commentary once that resumes on the BBC Sport website and app, and on your smart speaker. Ask BBC Sounds to play Durham versus Yorkshire day 1. Back to the football then, because Newcastle United play tomorrow. Jason Tyndall says Eddie Howe is still recovering from pneumonia. Not surprised. There is no update, says Jason Tindall, on when the Newcastle boss will be well enough to return to the club. Tindall's been in charge, along with Graham Jones, of the last 2 matches. He'll again lead Newcastle when they face European rivals Aston Villa away from home tomorrow evening. The Magpies looking for a 7th victory in a row. It's the same 11 players that have started the last 6 games in a row, and Tindall seems unlikely to change a winning team.
When you are in good form and when you are winning games, it then does become difficult to change your team unless you feel players are not performing within that winning team, which I don't think anyone can say that, because the players are collectively and individually delivering excellent performances. So in some senses the team does pick itself, but we've got a fantastic squad. We've got some good players on the bench, and everybody's played their part this season, and and everybody's going to need to play their part for the remaining 6 games, and I'm sure they will do.
That's Jason Tindall there. 5:30 kick-off tomorrow afternoon. The build-up from 4:30. Tonight, though, Newcastle Falcons at home to Northampton Saints in Rugby Union's Premiership. Still looking for a first league win of 2025 are the Falcons. Here is their Director of Rugby, Steve Diamond.
Well, first of all, they've beaten us 61-0 this year, so not bad for a team sat in 7th. They have got an unbelievable back line. The 2 national team half-backs. They've got a very able squad of forwards, and the position probably doesn't belie the true ability, as we've proven in Europe. It's going to be a very difficult game for us. We've got to put time in the tackle. Can't afford, one of the teams that don't mess around at line-outs to get it in within 10 seconds. They don't hang around at scrums. They've got 9 and 10 who both attack the line. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough game.
You've had a few injuries, Tommy Gordon, I think, Phil van der Vaart, etc. What's the squad looking like there? Those guys already?
Those 2 won't feature. Tom Gordon nearly, but he won't. Phil van der Vaart's now out to the end of the year. Sam Arnold's back in contention. Max Clark, a young 9. Joe Davies won't make it, unfortunately. He's got a hamstring strain. Apart from that, we're picking from what we've got.
And I know as a director of rugby across a number of clubs, you've never finished bottom of the table, but with only 5 games left, 2 at home, 3 away, and a 10 points difference, is that too steep a mountain to climb?
Well, I think the Exeter result was massive, not going our way, and I don't think people will understand the pressures that are involved and things like that. And it will be difficult not to finish off the bottom. So it could be a first, Dean. It could be a first for me.
We're still hoping it's not. For him, live commentary of Newcastle Falcons against Northampton tonight with Dean Gray on the BBC Sport website and app. It's a 7:45 kickoff, but we've got 45 minutes still to go at Ashton Gate. Bristol City 0, Sunderland 1. Second half commentary coming up then with Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett.
Half-time highlights.
Total Sport Northeast.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Meander's on his own here, but he's going to come away with the ball. It's 1 against 1. Meander away down this right-hand side. Binder's going back with him. Meander's going on. He's going to take it into the penalty area. Still going. The goal is from his own penalty area, virtually. He's driven all the way up the other end, stepped inside with his left foot and slipped it under Max O'Leary in the 31st minute to give Sunderland the lead.
Total Sport Northeast.
Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett, MBE.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
A change for Bristol City in the second half. Hirakawa has come back on after being dropped at the start of the game for George Tanner, who replaced him, and already having an impact down the right wing. He's forced 1 clearance, and now he's coming back again down this right-hand side. Slips the ball inside to Joe Williams, who crosses the left of the 6-yard box. It appeals for a penalty from Bristol City, just studiously ignored by referee Oliver Langford as McCrory went down at the edge of the 6-yard box at the end of that floated cross. And now Mepham back to Patterson, almost got caught on the clearance with the foot stabbed out by Matt Bird that made minimal contact, I think, with the ball. Sunderland managed to get it away, but then give it away. Grigg into the path of McCrory down this left-hand side. So in this second half, Bristol City in their red and white, as we look down from the main stand, attacking from left to right. George Earthy down into the corner, trying to turn the ball back from the goal line. It's played back into the penalty area and cleared by Dan Neal, who's playing as a centre-back, with Luke O'Nien having gone right back in the absence of the sent-off Trey Hume. Print comes forwards again down this left-hand side.
McCrory back to Williams. Williams down the left again here to Earthy at the corner of the penalty area. Earthy to McCrory. Low ball in, blocked by Mepham, and comes out to Roberts here, looking for Mienda, who's taken it and got away from the lunging challenge. He's on his way again. Mienda slipped it inside to Roberts. Now,
I tell you what,
what's he going to do here? It's a yellow card just inside the Bristol City.
I tell you what, it's 3 against 2.
Yeah, Mienda and Roberts were away, weren't they? Prings picked himself up after the booking.
They're leaving themselves wide open, aren't they?
But again, Mienda showing his strength.
Great skill, great strength.
Riding one challenge and eventually being brought down by Pring as he'd slipped the ball inside to Roberts, who I'm sure was looking to get it back into the path of Mienda on that break.
And the question is, what you've seen already, is Mienda a better out-and-out striker than Wilson Isidore?
Well, he's proving to be in these last few weeks.
His retention off the ball is good. It's positive.
And he stays on side. Mepham to O'Nien, down the right wing to Roberts. Roberts being forced back by Pring. The ball eventually out for a throw to Sunderland in their 3rd kit this afternoon. The blue down the right wing. Rigg with Knight in front of him, back along the touchline to Roberts. Roberts working on Pring. And now Roberts slipping it into the penalty area, trying to find Rigg, but he went behind him. But Roberts wins it back, the clearance, but then a very good challenge at the edge of the area by Joe Williams, who got the ball through to Wells now and down the left to Earthy. On the left touchline, we're at the other end now, Earthy at the left side of the penalty area. O'Nien trying to stick with him, pulled back to Knight. Knight rolling it to McCrory on the left, and his ball's a poor one behind for a goal kick. Hirakawa's playing on the right now, McCrory on the left for Bristol City. McCrory, who generally plays left-sided, and now Hirakawa's back in the team. He's gone back over to that side, having played on the right in the first half. Sunderland, Patterson in goal, Hume, Mepham, O'Nien and Hjelde. Neil, Rigg, Roberts, Lefay, Watson and Mienda was the starting lineup, but Hume was sent off after 7 minutes. And Patterson slips as he gets the ball clear. Hirakawa heads it back down right. Lefay gets a touch. Hjelde clears it straight to Knight on halfway into the centre circle to Pring. Pring looking for McCrory down the left-hand side. Sunderland flooding back to defend. And now with Williams. Williams to the edge of the penalty area, down to the left of the penalty box. Slipped back by McCrory to Williams, looking for Earthy in the box on the left, on the goal line. Gets the ball in at the edge of the 6-yard box, cleared by Mepham. The Sunderland bench is Moore, Jobe, Brown, Isidore, Salis, Alexic, Anderson, Jones and Middlemas. They elected not to make any changes following Hume's sending off. Here's Wells. Eventually Dickey. And now Knight to Hirakawa down the right at the penalty area, almost on the goal line. He plays it back to Knight. Knight slips it inside, edge of the box. It comes back out to him from Wells and eventually into midfield to Bine. And now Pring and Williams. And Williams down to Pring again, down the left-hand side. Plays it back out to the touchline to McCrory, who's trying to cut inside. Puts the ball in the box, blocked by Mepham and smashed away by Rigg. Right back up the other end to Max O'Leary. West Brom down to 10 men and losing 1-0 to Coventry. 56th minute here, Bristol City 0, 10-man Sunderland 1. Williams inside to Earthy, looking for Bird, pushing the back, but the referee doesn't stop play. Williams wins it back again for Bristol City, down the left, and inside to Bird. Bird drives the ball into the penalty area. Foot from Hjelde, left foot clears it, and Williams is going to run onto this again on the left-hand side. Taps it down the touchline to McCrory. McCrory back to Williams. Williams just outside the penalty area, thought about a shot, tries to find Earthy, knocked away at the edge of the area by Lefay, and eventually it goes behind for a corner. Bristol City's second corner,
Hirakawa takes it, rolls it to the right edge of the penalty area. Bird in the penalty box. Lefay sticking with him, places to Hirakawa. Hirakawa on the right, crosses over the head of Wells and out to the right-hand side. In fact, it might have been Viner trying to get on the end of it. Comes back out to Earthy, puts it back in again, looking for Dickey, headed out by Neil. Back in again here, Bird's at the foot of it, misses it completely, and O'Nien on the goal line takes it towards the corner and then clears for Sunderland. Throw to Bristol City, almost up on the halfway line. Carlisle 3, Port Vale 0 in that vital game for Carlisle at the bottom of League 2. Swansea 1, Hull 0. Here's Hirakawa, back inside then tonight. Puts the ball up towards McCrory, heads down towards Wells at the edge of the 6-yard box. Sunderland get it clear, comes back in again, and then a trip. No, says the referee on Bird at the edge of the penalty area. Waves away the appeals. The ball comes back up the other end to O'Leary, the Bristol City keeper in lavender, and he plays it wide down the right now to Hirakawa. Inside to Knight. Knight plays it into the penalty area. McCrory heads it down to Earthy. Shot blocked. Wells blocked again.
Great defending
by Mepham. And Mepham tries to gee everybody up again. Comes to Hirakawa, gets it from Watson, plays it to Bird, and now Earthy wide.
I tell you what, excellent defending by Sunderland.
Fantastic
Unbelievable
defending by Sunderland. Terrific block by Mepham, and it's still 1-0 to 10-man Sunderland. Patterson recovering the ball. Bristol City throwing everything at Sunderland. Mepham, who last week told me that making blocks like that is like scoring goals for a defender. It's 1-0 and still to 10-man Sunderland. Mepham heads the ball from the centre circle through the middle to Dickey, picked up by Pring. Pring leaves it now for Williams on the halfway line, bringing it down the left of central midfield. Lays it off to Pring again. Pring down the left wing to McCrory. McCrory onto his right foot, leaves it for Williams. Williams looks up, low ball into the penalty area, dug out by Lefay. Comes to Dickey. Dickey scores! 22 yards out. Drives into the top corner, and Bristol City are level. Rob Dickey just put his right foot through it.
Yeah, excellent strike by Dickey. Patterson had no chance with that the minute he left his foot.
Bristol City 1, Sunderland 1. I think it was a fortuitous strike. He just put his right foot through it and it happened to curl round beyond Patterson. 1-1 then at Ashton Gate. As Bristol City at the start of the second half, making a change, making a tactical change as well in switching the wing backs over, and Rob Dickey scores from 22 yards. His second goal of the season. Both have come here at Ashton Gate as they come forwards again. Bird trying to get into the penalty area, Hjelde getting in front of him and trying to hold him off, and does, and the ball rolls behind for the goal kick. Blackburn 3, Millwall 1. Bristol City 1, Sunderland 1.
Yeah, you've got to say Bristol City have started the second half on the front foot.
Goal kick then.
Bellingham's coming on.
And Job is warming up, yeah, to come on for Sunderland. It'll be the first change that Regis Lebris has made. There's a double substitution to come. Isidore's going to come on as well. And the ball back into the Bristol City half. Pring gives the ball away to Roberts. Roberts down the right, 2 in front of him. Pring managed to stab the ball away from Roberts. Rick trying to win it back. Pring gets it down the left now to Earthy. Earthy in the Sunderland half, tackled by Mepham. The loose ball picked up by Earthy again, and it's played out off Roberts for a throw to Bristol City on the left-hand side. It's Norwich 1, Portsmouth 4 at Carrow Road. So 1-1 here at Ashton Gate. We're in the 57th minute, and Knight plays the ball out to McCrory on the left touchline. And it's going to be a triple change because Salis is coming on as well for Sunderland.
It's what we touched on before, Nick, in regards of,
10 men playing
down
the whole
to 10
game.
men.
He needs to keep players as fresh as he can. There's a cross played in here. Bird goes,
he was never going to control it. It was going out of
play. He stayed on his feet.
It was going out of play anyway, Nick.
It was going out.
Yeah. He didn't have control of the ball.
There's no real appeal from the Bristol City
Basically, he had a
players.
bad touch, didn't he?
Yeah,
His foot fell off his feet and he's taking it out. He's going out of play.
Yeah. So triple substitution's imminent. It's 1-1, Sunderland with 10 men. We're in the 58th minute. Patterson with a goal kick. Oh, it's all happening here. BBC Radio Newcastle as the ball headed on by Williams down this right-hand side. Earthy trying to get it to Williams again inside. Hirakawa, he's beaten to it by Mepham. He puts the ball into the paddock.
I would imagine that Lafay will come off.
Yes.
Mayenda most probably will come off.
Yes.
And maybe Watson or Roberts.
Down the left, McCrory left of the penalty area.
Roberts is struggling.
Hirakawa, it's nodded out by Lafay, and down the right to Hirakawa. And watching Roberts now, you've mentioned that he is comfortable, is he?
Yeah.
It's ball down the right, Viner here now. It slips it inside to Knight. Knight back out to Viner, back inside to Bird. Bird, Earthy at the edge of the area, just over the bar, took a deflection, it's a corner. To Bristol City, away to our right. Two balls on the pitch. It's been left for Bird to retrieve a ball. Max Bird on this right-hand side then to take the corner. Third corner for Bristol City. Both arms raised by Bird. Putting out in midfield. Hirakawa out on this right-hand side. The ball hangs in the air a moment. Headed in towards Viner. 3 yards out, heads it over the crossbar. 1-1 still in the 60th minute then, and the changes will be made by Sunderland now. Salis coming off on for Lafay. So that is a straight swap then. Lafay strolling off here.
Roberts is going to come off.
I think Roberts definitely. Roberts is coming. He's struggling. He's coming off from the halfway line. The centre spot is not. Is it his groin? They're not sure. He's got a slight limp. Riggs coming off as well for Joe. Watford 1, Burnley 2. So Riggs coming off, and Roberts is the other. So Mayenda presumably will go to the left. Watson will play. No, will he go right? Right. Mayenda will play on the right wing. Watson stays on the left. Isidore up front. That triple substitution. 1-1 here in the 62nd minute now. Patterson's kick down the left. Joe trying to get his first touch, but it's headed away by Williams. And then out to the wing, kept in by Viner, who heads it away from Watson. But Hjelde puts it out. A throw for Bristol City, just a yard from Regis Lebris.
Yeah, Yelder's struggling. Seems as though he's struggling as well now. The left back.
Through ball from Viner to Bird. Headed straight at Patterson by Wells from 12 yards. 1-1.
was a good ball sliced through down this right-hand side for Bristol City. Patterson then at the edge of the penalty area. Wells lurks, Patterson kicks down the left, looking for Watson to chase this. Viner gets the ball out, heads it out, took no chances with Isidore just inside Watson. Hjelde jogs down to take a throw for Sunderland. Ball boy plays the ball on a cone meantime, and Hjelde comes down, removes it to take the throw in the 63rd minute. Bristol City 1, Sunderland 1. Dickey's 22-yard strike, the equaliser. Hjelde still waiting to take the throw. And Oliver Langford, the referee, is looking at his watch. Hjelde drops it to Watson, but then it's put out by Watson for a throw to Bristol City on this right-hand side. Musa Sissoko has been sent off for Watford. And it's now Blackburn 4, Millwall 1. So Coventry winning, Bristol City getting a point at the moment. Arguably West Bromwich Albion and Millwall being squeezed out of the equation ahead of Monday's games. Now the ball on the left-hand side, back inside to Knight. Knight plays it across here to Viner on the right-hand side. Hirakawa is out wider right for Bristol City, and he's overplayed it. Bird won't run onto it. It goes behind for a goal kick to Sunderland. Bristol City looking to warm up someone. I wonder if they're thinking about another change, contemplating a further change. Patterson wanting everybody upfield, drives the ball over the halfway line, headed on by Williams. Hirakawa, then Hjelde puts his left foot through it over the top of Isidore, and back to Max O'Leary, the Bristol City keeper. Throws out on the left-hand side to Pring, back inside in the middle to Williams in the centre circle, and to Viner, and wide right then to Hirakawa, or Yu, as he carries on the back of his shirt, the Japanese number 7. Pring on the left now for McCrory, left of the penalty area, pulls it back, headed away by O'Nien, straight back out to Pring though, inside to Bird at the back of the D, tries to place his shot, and it sails over for a goal kick to Sunderland.
Yeah, Mayenda's got to do that work on that right hand side. He's defending.
You can forgive him for anything following that goal.
Yeah, definitely so. And again, you're looking at the team. We're down to 10 men. We've got 1 or 2 players who are actually playing out of position as well. You know, for me, I think Hjelde's carrying a knock at the present moment. It's going to book him.
Patterson's going to be booked for time wasting.
Yeah, he's been warned.
Just shown the yellow card by Oliver Langford. And now he takes the goal kick onto the head of Dickey, scorer of the equaliser. Falls to Bird, trying to slip it through. O'Nien manages to cut it out, finds Dan Neal up to Isidore, but he's tackled in the edge of the centre circle on the right. Pring forwards tonight, back to Williams in the centre circle, and then to the right here to Bird. The overlap from Viner, but Bird goes inside and slips it across the pitch to Pring. It's Carlisle 3, Port Vale 1. Massive game for Carlisle in their bid to stay in the Football League. Hirakawa knocked the ball. Watson trying to get the ball forward, slips it behind him. Hjelde's into trouble here with Naki Wells, but he gets the ball to Watson. Watson manages to get it up to Isidore, holds off side. Williams. It's slipped in by Salis to Job, and Job away on the left here to Watson. Watson now back to Job, and Job surrounded by 4 Bristol City players gets it back to Hjelde.
Great play.
And now with Neal to Mepham forwards to Mayenda, tackle. McCrory comes away with the ball. McCrory slips it to Bird, now trying to get it back, but O'Nien cuts it out. Mayenda
away on the right. Earthy trying to close him down. He gets it to Isidore. Isidore back to Mayenda. Mayenda stumbles slightly, but still on the ball. Running at Pring, corner of the penalty area. Into the penalty area, down the right, but Pring gets the ball off him, slips over, but gets the ball away. Down the left to George Earthy, the 20-year-old on loan from West Ham, who's got 2 goals against Middlesbrough this season, 3 in all. The youngster, he's on the ball again down the left. He saw one blocked from Mepham earlier. Leaves it for Williams. Down the left to McCrory. McCrory now, wide left, plays it back to Williams.
Get out
down to
there,
McCrory again.
That's it, you've got to get back, goal side.
Earthy. Back to Dickey in the middle of the Sunderland half. Wide to Hirakawa. Hirakawa down the right, block Gelder. A corner to Bristol City. Hirakawa and is it Bird going to take the corner kick? Max Bird's going to take the corner on the right here for Bristol City. Sunderland have everybody back in the penalty area. Bird with his left chips it into the box. It's headed down. McCrory smashes one, cleared off the line by Gelder.
Well done. Good positioning.
And it was in the right place.
Free header.
That's Bird on the right-hand side. And he puts the ball in, punched out by Patterson. Norwich 2, Portsmouth 4. 1-1 here at Ashton Gate. Earthy with the ball for Bristol City. Here on the right to Knight. Knight swings it back in again, far post. Stretching is Patterson. He managed to clutch it before Wells can get it from him.
Well done, Anthony Patterson.
Patterson, all in green, his short sleeve top in this bitterly cold Good Friday afternoon. We've got full commentary tomorrow afternoon, 5:30. Aston Villa against Newcastle. Here on BBC Radio Newcastle with Patterson here, kicking high in the air over the halfway line. We're back on Monday afternoon, of course, at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland against Blackburn Rovers. Here's Bird. Jobe on his shoulder. Bird plays it back to Pring. This in the Sunderland half. Back on the left wing. Earthy trying to come in past Mayenda, who nearly tripped him. Earthy's got round him. Now slips it back to Williams. Williams to Pring. Down the left wing. He plays it back to Williams in central midfield with Dickey. Dickey, who shot last time, shoots again, but wide, well wide. And is away for a goal kick.
They're going to make a substitution, Bristol.
Bristol City are going to make change. Yeah. And Patterson's gone to recover the ball, but he's not taking a great deal of time about it. A great deal of urgency about it.
The referee's warning him.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? It's this thing with referees having booked goalkeepers for time wasting. Do they ever actually show a goalkeeper a second yellow card? It was tested by Preston North End, of course, when they came to the Stadium of Light. It's the kick from Patterson, headed away by Dickey. Comes back to O'Nien, just inside the Sunderland half, heading it on. Viner beats Watson to the ball. Scott Twine's coming on. Mehmeti's going to come on for Bristol City. So they're throwing on forwards.
Yeah. You know, because they know it's a game they need to win. The draw's no good to them.
Well, with Coventry beating West Bromwich Albion, they've gone into 5th place as it stands. But they will be 6th. Borough and Plymouth drawing at the moment. Watson, over Watson's head for clearance. Alan Brown's going to come on as well for Sunderland. Well, the first change is Williams off the Twine. And Bird's coming off from Mehmeti.
between them, Anis Mehmeti and Scott Twine have got 18 goals this season. So they're on now for Bristol City in the 72nd minute. Brown's going to come on for Sunderland. Will he come on for Hjelde, do you think?
I would imagine so. I think
O'Nien will go left back. Here's Pring. It's 1-1 in the 73rd minute now here at Ashton Gate. Sunderland been playing with 10 men as Pring drives one straight at Patterson from 20 yards low. 10 men since the 7th minute when Hume was set off. I mean, replays we've seen at half-time barely suggest there was much contact, but there was enough for Wells to go down. And he was last man at the edge of the Sunderland penalty area. The ball bounces through here to Viner, heads it down. Watson's beaten to it by Dickey, drives it down the touchline. Hjelde puts it into the middle. It's Carlisle 3, Port Vale 2. So it's going to be a nervy final 15-20 minutes at Brunton Park. Here on the left, McCrory just into the Sunderland half on the left. He plays it inside to Knight and across now to Viner, and Viner leaves it for Hirakawa. And Hirakawa, Watson in front of him, he slips it to his left inside to Twine. Twine back out to Viner, blocked by Hjelde.
Might take Watson off.
And a throw, possibly, to Bristol City. Viner will take this back to Earthy, into the middle to Dickey, and Dickey now out to the right again to Viner. They've had a fair number of 1-1 draws actually in the last 10. Bristol City, as Hjelde clears again for another throw. 4 1-1 draws in the last 10, including last week at Queen's Park Rangers. Here's Knight, Wells, and now Hirakawa on the right of the penalty area, slips it back to Wells, whipped off his feet by Isidore, back to Patterson, who gratefully falls on it just to the left of his post. Alan Brown getting instructions from Pedro Ribeiro. Mepham playing a ball deep into the Bristol City half, but out. 15 minutes to play, just over. Bristol City 1, Sunderland 1. Live on BBC Radio Newcastle, Sunderland playing with 10 men. Knight in the middle of the Bristol City half. Out here on the right-hand side to Viner. Viner now to Hirakawa. And he plays it back to Viner. Viner back into the middle to Dickey. And Pring, who's dropped back to the left of the 3 centre-backs rather than wing-back as he played in the first half. McCrory at the edge of the penalty area, tackled, and O'Nien will bring the ball out here to Watson. Watson picking it through, but straight to Pring. Pring pushing on now in the middle with Knight. Knight back to Pring. Pring to Twine, was it, at the edge of the area? He's trying to win it back, but won back now by Salis, but he's lost it.
On the ball.
Now with Earthy down the left of the penalty area to Mehmeti. He's trying to slip it inside now. Mehmeti and finds the feet of Jobe. It comes down to McCrory, who drives it home from the corner of the 6-yard box in the bottom right corner.
You've got to keep holding the ball, but give the ball away too easy. The ball's being fired in. It's a bad touch, and it's just fallen for him, and it's a good finish.
He didn't need the invitation. The ball just pushed to him, and he drove it low and hard under Patterson in the bottom right corner. And Bristol City lead 2-1. So 2-1, Bristol City lead in the final 15 minutes. Brown's coming on for Mienda. They defended stoically.
Sunderland, but that's the changes that Liam Manning has made have paid off for Bristol City since half-time. Bristol City 2, 10-man Sunderland 1. And it's Norwich 2, Portsmouth 5. But Bristol City with that second goal potentially go back into 5th place above Coventry, who are leading West Brom.
Yeah, you give credit to Bristol, the way they've come out in the second half. You know, they've made the changes, and you've got to say it's worked. You know, McCrory going on that left-hand side, you know, and the ball's falling for him. It's a good finish.
So 2-1, 78th minute. Here's McCrory, the goal scorer, just keeping it in, and then it's hooked away by Pring high in the air down that left-hand side. It's gone out. It's a throw to Sunderland. Into back on to halfway. Job across here on the left to Gelder, looking for Watson, blocked by Viner. Viner's going to take the ball on here now, leave it for Knight. Plays it back to Dickey. This is inside the Bristol City half. Dickey again down the right to Viner. Looking for Twine, who's fouled. If that was Wells, who was pulled down.
Yeah, they're going to make another substitution, aren't they?
They are. McGuane, Marcus McGuane, former Arsenal and Barcelona B midfielder, is going to come on for Bristol City. Signed from Oxford United last summer. Central midfielder. 79th minute. Bristol City 2, Sunderland 1. We're live on BBC Radio Newcastle. Centre circle. Here's Viner to the right. Out to Kawa. Back to Viner just inside the Sunderland half. Bristol City, everybody but their goalkeeper is in the Sunderland half. Here's Earthy back on halfway. Out to the left to Pring. Pring plays it back into his own half now. Dickey's dropped back. Across to Viner here on the right hand side. And down the right, hooked away by Dan Neal. Viner heads it on again. Hjelde puts his right foot through it. Back to Viner, who heads it down from Watson. And Hjelde nearly won it back. But Knight comes away with it down this right-hand side. Hjelde's going to put him down. That'll be a yellow card for Hjelde.
I said 10 minutes ago he's struggling, Nick, and he is.
Yeah.
He's struggling. You know, they need to freshen things up, either take him off. Because he's either picked up a knock or he's just finding it very, very difficult at the present moment. I know it's hard because we're down to 10 men.
But Sean Earthy's coming off.
Yeah, he's out on his feet.
Looks like Tom Lavery, is going to come on. So McGuane's on now. I think Tom Lavery's going to come on for Sunderland. Or is it Joe Anderson? No, it's Joe Anderson. Joe Anderson's going to come on at left back for Hjelde. They have to defend again here. Anderson waiting to come on, but O'Nien heads the ball behind for another Bristol City corner. So as you say, Hjelde's struggling. Anderson's going to replace him.
You know, we called it 10, 15 minutes ago he's been struggling.
Twine to Knight in midfield. To the right, Hirakawa. Hirakawa into McCrory on the right. Dinks one across the far post. Headed by Nepham away. And it's going to come back, or by Brown away. And it's put over the bar by Wells from the left-hand side for a goal kick to Sunderland. 82nd minute. The change about to be made.
You know it's him. You know it's Hjelde coming off.
And it's Hjelde who's coming off. So all 5 substitutions made.
Joe Anderson, who I think in the ordinary turn of events wouldn't have expected to come on at all, but forced by the situation to come on now. Joe back to Dan Neil. Neil trying to bring this out down the left, but the Japanese Hirakawa wins it back off him. Now leaves it on halfway with Knight to McGuane. McGuane through to Knight and to Pring and then across to Dickey. Bristol City leading 2-1, 83rd minute. Sunderland with 10 men since the 7th minute. And they've taken the lead through Mienda in the 31st minute with a wonderful goal, an individual goal. Here's Hirakawa looking for Wells down the right-hand side of the penalty area. Anderson goes with him. And Wells now stabs it back to Viner on the right-hand side. Back to Dickey. Dickey down the right again to Viner. Viner inside to Knight. And Knight back to Dickey and McGuane in the middle. Just forwards of the centre circle to Knight again and down the right to Viner. Viner back to Knight. And of course Sunderland conceivably could be coming back here in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, the thing is, Nick, you just got to see the game out. That's what we've got to do. It's difficult when you're down to 10 men.
And they've done exceptionally well.
Yeah, they have
actually.
indeed. But what they don't want to do is concede another goal.
Yeah.
See it out. It is what it is.
Here on halfway, wide on the left. Pring trying to get the ball up to Mehmeti. Comes back to McCrory. Managed to tap it in through to Scott Twine, but back it comes to Anderson. And with his left foot, puts it up over the halfway line. All the way back to the edge of the Bristol City penalty area. The ball's barely been in the Bristol City half, actually, in fairness, in this second half. Here's McGuane through the centre circle for Bristol City. Out on the left-hand side, the left touchline, McCrory.
Sorry, Nick, this is what they need to do. They need to get back into shape. See the game out.
Yeah. Bristol City pushing it on again now, trying to get everybody back up into the Sunderland half.
Go chasing. Let him have it there.
85th minute, centre circle through to McGuane.
Play around
now to Twine. Gets away from Job. Plays it out on the right-hand side of the penalty area. Hirakawa stabbed away to Anderson by Mepham. And a foul on Anderson by Twine, who caught it.
Yeah, we're looking at Wilson Isidore and he's looking, trying to close down, and he's wondering why the others are not up. You cannot get up.
$1,386 Sunderland fans in that attendance of 25,915 this afternoon. That was Bristol City leading 10-man Sunderland 2-1. Trey Hume, as it stands, misses Monday's game. I'm not quite sure what the appeal procedure is over a bank holiday weekend with only 2 days between the games.
And they're not open on the Sunday, did they?
I'm not sure what happens. Here the ball played up towards Mehmeti at the corner of the penalty area. Gets away down the left from Mepham into the penalty area. Still going. Oh, he tries to put across the face of goal. For a second, I thought it was going to go in the top corner.
Yeah.
But it's gone behind.
As a group, and now you should be saying, do not concede another goal. See the game out. It is what it is.
In the 86th minute, 2 balls on the pitch. Bristol City fans throw a second one up from behind the goal. Wells just taps it behind. Dan Neil makes sure it goes and away. Patterson urging everybody up. Sunderland in their third kit this afternoon. Patterson with a kick up over halfway. Up was Isidore, beaten to it by Dickey. Drops for Job. Job holds off Twine, plays it behind him to Anderson. Now Salis gets around McGuane. Salis through the middle. Salis still going. Salis towards the edge of the area. Lays it off on the right to Mepham. And Brown through to Salis again. Back to Brown to cross. Looking for Isidore, who heads it wide. They're looking for a corner, Sunderland. They're not going to get it from the referee.
Good play by Salis.
on Queen's Park Rangers one. There's a good chance that Solis will play on Monday against Blackburn. Bristol City's turn to waste time now. Referee urging them on. O'Leary's going to take the goal kick. And he's waiting for everybody to head upfield, and the referee urging him to get on with it. Kick up onto Job's head, through to Isidore on the halfway line, but it's intercepted and won back by Bristol City. Hirakawa caught by Anderson. Free kick to Bristol City just inside the Sunderland half.
That's where I think Mayenda is better than Isidore. His retention off the ball.
We're in the 88th minute. Knight's going to take this free kick for Bristol City. The referee wants the ball placed back a few yards. Tap by Knight to Viner. Viner to Dickey, just to the right of the centre circle. And through to Knight again on this right side, wide to Hirakawa, looking for the run down here of Wells. Wells battling with Neal, gets it to Watson, who gives it away to Knight, and now Twine back to Vine on halfway. Knight ahead of him. Wells puts the ball out.
He could be sent off here,
and he's knocked him down on the floor. It's a yellow card.
He's got to be careful, Anderson.
There's a couple of challenges.
There's 2 challenges in quick succession. He's got to be careful.
89th minute. Naki Wells is picking himself up. 2-1 Bristol City lead, 10-man Sunderland. Viner's going to take the free kick wide on the right here. Just a yard in from touch, halfway inside the Sunderland half. He's got Knight behind him. He taps it short to Twine, back to Viner, back again onto halfway to Knight, back to Dickey. Forward to McGuane. McGuane to the right here to Knight. They play it amongst themselves and then back to Dickey. Slipped by Isidore as he went to close down Dickey. The ball up towards Anderson. It's in the air. Salis trying to win it from Twine. Twine pulled down by Salis. It's almost rugby tackle. Then he grabbed him and just threw him down to the floor. Free kick right in the middle of the Sunderland half. We're in the last minute of the 90.
Stay disciplined. That's what we've got to do.
Hayden Roberts is going to come on for Bristol City, if they can get him on.
Yeah, one of them's got a hamstring problem.
Roberts then will be the final substitution for Bristol City. There's a free kick to be taken in the middle of the pitch, but they're going to take this out to McCrory on the left side, into Mehmeti, back to McCrory, and back again then to McGuane. McGuane to McCrory, back to McGuane, to Twine, who played it back almost onto halfway, and then in the middle to Knight. 3 minutes of time will be added on. 3 minutes.
Pass it.
And the ball won by Watson, and lost by Watson in the middle. Played back to Viner. We're into the first of those 3 minutes. Bristol City leading 10-man Sunderland 2-1. Knight back to Dickey. Dickey out to Viner here. And Viner away down the right, swings the ball into the middle. Mepham heads it on, drops for Brown, who battles and loses it, but wins a free kick. McGuane's penalised. The substitution will be made now. It's McCrory who's struggling. McCrory who scored what is looking like it's going to be the winner.
Yeah.
Applauded off here. Taking his time. Ross McCrory then, the 27-year-old Scot, comes on. Hayden Roberts, the 22-year-old from Brighton. And a rare moment for Bristol City to have everybody back to defend this free kick from Patterson, who drives it, drills it down the left of the Bristol City penalty area. Dickey hooks it in the air. It's an up and under. Going to be Wells, Joe thought he was pushed over. The referee doesn't. Hirakawa now blocks and tries to get the ball over. Anderson away down the right for Wells. Salis is on his shoulder. Wells is holding him off and slips the ball inside here in the middle to Twine. Job in front of me. Plays it back to Dickey on the halfway line. Played nearly 2 minutes of the minimum 3. Here's Wells again on the right-hand side. Back again to Viner on halfway. Inside in the middle to Dickey. And then McGuane. Viner again on the right. Back to McGuane. McGuane again now. Trying to get away over the halfway line. Plays it straight to Neil. Up to Isidore.
Attention off the ball.
But Twine whips it off his feet out for a throw to Sunderland. Wide on the right-hand side in the final minute of the 3. And Walsall 2, Harrogate 2. Throw to Sunderland, 20 yards from the corner on the right. Drops to O'Nien. Back it comes down to Salis. Salis to Mepham. Or will go back to Mepham eventually from Brown. And Mepham now bringing this forwards through the middle of the Bristol City half. Lays it off to Dan Neal. Got 15 seconds or so remaining of the minimum 3. Watson on the left. Watson trying to cut inside. He's got Anderson on the left. Anderson crosses. It's come down off Isidore. Back to the goalkeeper, who falls on it. And that could well be pretty much it. That's the minimum 3. Referee urging O'Leary to get the ball upfield. We're in the 4th minute of added time now. And Bristol City lead 10-man Sunderland 2-1. The kick and the whistle to the referee's back. The cheers tell you the story. It's over. What a brave effort from Sunderland. Hume sent off after 7 minutes. Eliza Meyenda's terrific individual goal in the 31st minute. Changes made by Bristol City for the second half, and Rob Dickey and Ross McCrory scoring to give Bristol City 3 points. They remain in 5th place, and Sunderland have to assess the problems they may have inherited as a result of playing with 10 men, including what looks like an injury to Gielda, and try and freshen things up again on Monday.
Yeah, they're going to freshen things up. And, we talk about, managing the game, before the ball was kicked. And we said an injury or something can happen. There's nothing you can do about it. And we went down to 10 men. It was a brave display by Sunderland. But credit to Bristol, especially in the second half. They came out, they asked the questions, and they got the rewards in the end.
Big game for Bristol City. They knew that Coventry City are on their tail. Coventry City leading West Brom, who are playing with 10 men now, 1-0. But as it stands at the moment, and there's still 3 games to go, it'll be Bristol City that Sunderland would play in the playoff semi-finals. But Bristol City have to go to Luton on Monday and Leeds on Monday week, as the Sunderland players go to thank the away supporters, nearly 3,500 of them, for their terrific support this afternoon. Long way for them to come on this Good Friday afternoon. But they defended manfully. They were so well organised in the first half. And the standout, of course, was Eliza Meyenda's terrific solo goal.
It was a fantastic goal. But, I think Reggie Lebris will be sitting there and thinking, well, if we get these in the playoff, 11v11, you'll fancy Sunderland. You really would.
Yeah, home and away, you feel over 2 legs with his strongest team. But what to be this afternoon didn't go to plan.
Football Prizes are running a fantastic competition, a must for any Sunderland fan. The biggest ever Sunderland competition so far. Superb prizes, and the best news of all, it'll only cost you 39p to enter. Yes, 39 pence to enter into the competition. Fantastic first prize of a squad signed shirt in a custom LED frame as well. Various other prizes, too many to list, to be honest. There is Bellingham shirts, 09, Isidore, rig. They are all in there, signed and framed in the LED frame. There's home and away squad signed shirts. Lots to be won, including over 100 instant win prizes as well. You can enter via the link, which is in the description. Get yourself in there. 39 pence, an absolute must for any Sunderland fan. Thanks to Football Prizes.
950.